us, we need to be there to help them. I learned how this center, if you're a vet, you just raise your hand, you go to the front of the line, and you will get whatever services you need. And that's the kind of positive outreach we need to have in order to help make this the most veteran-friendly state in the country, home to some 600,000 or 700,000 veterans here in North Carolina. At this point, Chair Raven, I'd be welcome to hear if folks have ideas on workforce that they want to share, questions about the work here. I'm sure you'll be happy to answer them, but we'll just open it up. Thank you.
Well, Governor Stein, thrilled for you to be here today and get the chance to see one of many local partnerships that we have across the state, and you highlighted that this is a place that job seekers and employers are coming together to serve so many people in our community. We have many folks at the table from across the NC Work system, and so I'd love to open it up to folks here to be able to share a little bit about the work that we do, and then for you to ask some questions.
Sure.
We're committed to sharing the bright spots, but like you said, there's lots of opportunities to deepen our engagement. But I'd love to turn it over to Victor Glover here, a vet himself and a great leader.
Well, good morning, everyone. Governor, thanks for coming out and being with us today. I just wanted to share a couple of things about our veterans in our communities. I'll lead off with the city of Wilmington, the county of New Hanover. They house about 17,000 veterans just in this county alone. We have veteran services staff here in the Wilmington location that provide services. But some of the things, unique characteristics about the men and women that are serving our veterans is that they receive additional specialized training to work with our veterans. We've facilitated mental health first aid. A lot of our men and women are peer support specialists. And 20% of our staff, and there's 47 that are dedicated to the veterans on the DWS side of the house.
Statewide?
Yes, statewide, that are dedicated veterans. They are veteran support specialists, so they've had additional training in mental illness, PTSD, military sexual trauma, and substance abuse training. So a lot of the services that we provide for veterans in the state of North Carolina is full service. When we do detect and recognize some of those characteristics, then we have partners in the community, vocational rehabilitation and the VA, some of our private partners in the community that can provide additional services. So we do a lot more than just help folks find a job. That's our focus, that's our purpose, but when we do see those stumbling blocks or barriers to employment, as we call them, on our side of the house, then we make those additional services available.
Do you know what percentage of the vets who come in have those barriers or stumbling blocks that need help addressing?
Well, I don't have a number, but those 47 men and women, they specifically work with veterans that have barriers to employment. Okay. Our Career Center staff, they support and provide assistance to all other veterans that may not need to specialize in additional training. And even
some of those people may not even self-identify as a veteran.
Exactly.
They're just like, I come in and help me with my resume.
Exactly. And our Career Center staff tries to identify that, or those individuals who come in and don't self-identify by certain questions we ask. We have a checklist, and based on the response that they give alerts us to this individual may be a veteran, provide additional services. But our Career Center staff, we could not be as successful in our program in the state without the center staff and their support. They do the other 98% of what needs to be done to move and provide assistance. So I'll stop taking time.
That's great. Useful education.
Well, wonderful. I'd love to turn it over to Andrea Allard from DMVA, a great partner, to share a little bit about the work that they're doing in our operations.
Thank you, Governor, for having me here today to share the vital role that DMVA plays in veteran employment. I am a U.S. Army veteran who served in military intelligence as a linguist, interrogator, and psychological warfare specialist. I am married to a 100% disabled Camp Lejeune Marine. I was a military spouse. I am a caregiver. And one day I will be a survivor. In my role as Transition Services Director, I have the privilege of caring for the military and veteran community in all the military whole life cycle. As an accredited veteran service officer, this allows me to determine eligibility for state and federal benefits and also to provide hands-on claims processing. DMVA is committed to providing resource and service connection in all of its facets. NC Works is our primary partner in employment referral. Through our intake and initial meeting with veterans and their families, we assess their employment needs and provide a warm handover to their local NC Works Career Center. Very often, families are not counted. Never forget, we don't serve alone. In many cases, women veterans are not even in the conversation. I am able to connect veterans and veteran employers to the wonderful NC Works Veterans Portal, which offers an MOS crossover, which is a military occupational specialty crossover, where a veteran can enter in their MOS, and it shows them what careers and jobs apply to their skill sets. Also, that website provides valuable tips on incentives to employers who want to hire veterans. Thank you, Governor, for appointing DMVA's first woman secretary, Secretary Jocelyn Mignon-Millette. Thank you, Governor.
Yeah, she's going to be great.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Really thrilled for the partnership that we have between Commerce and DMVA. I'd love to open it up on this side of the table. We've got a veteran here who is engaged with us at NC Works, as well as a employer, and then of course one of our JSBG consultants, Monty. And so I'd love for you all to share a little bit about the work happening, and also to the Governor's point, what are some opportunities that you see based on your experiences?
Well, good morning, Governor. So happy to have you in our presence, and we appreciate you for the work that you're doing and being here this morning. What we do here at NC Works is very vital to our community. It's very vital to individuals, and we try and look at it from a holistic standpoint. So it's not just talking about getting a job, but it's also talking about getting the help. It's all about helping them, making sure that we meet the priority of their service needs. And so that then also involves special intakes that we do, assessments that we make, and also trying to make sure that they even identify in whatever category that they need to. I was just listening to Ms. Andrea, and we have a great partnership with them. One of the challenges, I believe, is our women veterans just self-assessment. They don't identify, and that's a great role that we really need to get help in, because they come in and we almost have to squeeze it out of them that they're a veteran so we can get them services that they need, and so that's one of the things.
Does NC Works kind of go back to DMVA if somebody comes in for employment, but they may need help navigating the VA or something else? Do you then connect them to one of the local centers in DMVA to say, here's some people who can help you with other things, because we're focused on employment?
Exactly. Not just DMVA, but also the VA. We use a variety of even local agendas. Some of them may even be homeless, so we have a continuum of care. We just did a point in contact, so we actually went out into the community and looked for homeless people and counted and saw how many veterans that were homeless, so we could get them into the system, get them care that they need, resources that they need. So once again, it's all about a holistic approach. I just had a couple notes that when we talk about the holistic, we are talking about also someone that may even be justice involved. So we have a veteran treatment court that is able to get them proper mentors We get them, they may have different sanctions that they have to go through to make sure that they stay in coherent with the plans, but it's a step process. And so we work with them in order to help get jobs. One of our veteran treat coordinators is here, and that's Mr. Lindsay, Chris Lindsay. And he works with our veteran treatment court, going every 2 weeks to go out and has a relationship with the sheriffs, with the judge, and also with the DA and different ones of that nature within our community. So that's very important also. We have different coalitions that I'm a part of. We have the Veterans Resource Project, and what they do there is we have different tribes that go out to their special needs. The transition, making sure that we can get them transitioned properly over to jobs and to different careers. So they don't just want a job. They're looking for a career, something they can do, and not just for a week or a month or 6 months, but to be able to provide for their families. Last but not least, because I don't want to take up everyone's time, but we also have, as a hybrid, working for DWS and JVSG, we have a great opportunity to be Disabled Veteran Outreach Program Specialists, which actually is outreach. So we're going out and checking on these veterans and seeing what needs they have so we can get them into the proper places. And then the other part of that is local veteran employment representatives. And that gives us an opportunity to go out to local employers and work with our business service team through our COG. And when we do that, it gives us an opportunity to go to these employers. And I just have one little piece of paper that, we tell them 10 reasons why you need to hire veterans. Leadership, teamwork, integrity, respect of procedures, triumph over adversity, efficient performance under pressure, conscience and safety standards, technology and globalization, and also accredited learning curves. So we're going out to these employers and we're telling them that you're going to get the cream of the crop. And by us having personal relationships with these employers, then they know that the references that we're sending over have been vetted also. So they're just not going to be a check in a box or a flop by night. So in conclusion, once again, we just want to thank you for being here and let you know that you got troops on the ground and we're the tip of the spear for these veterans.
Couldn't be more grateful.
Thank you, sir.
I guess I'm next.
Yeah, please.
My name is Bill Saccone, and welcome, Mr. Governor.
Yeah.
And thank you, Marcel, for inviting us. We're a small business located here in North Carolina. We're a manufacturer, and we only have 16 employees. And recently we've added 2 from NC Works, and I can tell you that it has been one of my greatest experiences working with NC Works and Marcel. He got to know us. He came in, he visited us, he got to know our culture, and when he found the right employees, which includes John, who is a veteran, he really convinced me that that's who we should be hiring. So I'm very grateful not only to NC Works, but to the state of North Carolina, which is not part of this meeting, but has helped us tremendously.
Right.
There are many, many small business opportunities like the Workforce Development Board and the community colleges. It has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, I just love the state of North Carolina. It's fantastic. And thank you, and I hope it continues.
We love it too. When did you move here?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. And
Yeah.
what are you manufacturing? in
We
your facility?
manufacture scientific chemistries and scientific apparatus that we export globally.
Wow.
Now, we've been working a lot with like EDPNC and SBTDC and lots of organizations that have helped us, giving us information and training. And so North Carolina offers quite a bit to small businesses where I actually feel important. Where I come from, we didn't feel very important. But here, it's really great to be,
Is that from
be with
Alabama?
pardon me? That's right, Sarah. Not quite, but you can tell where I'm from, obviously. What accent?
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been great, and thank you to the state of North Carolina, and thank you, Marcel. It's been really wonderful, and if there's any endorsement I can make, it's been how he has learned us. Really, really great, and we'll be hiring more because we do plan to expand our business quite a bit.
That's great. Well, we wish you every success.
Well, thank you.
I guess that's me. Thanks for having me, and thank you, Mr. Governor, for coming. when I first came in here, I had been working IT for 10 years and lost my job unexpectedly. Was going through a divorce, had child support to pay, had no idea what I was going to do.
And when did you come in here? When was
That was last July,
Last July, so
July 2020.
7, 8 months, yeah.
I thought maybe I was going to go back to school, but that's really hard to do when you don't have an income. First person I talked to over here was Marcel, and first suggestion he had was Microsoft, and I kind of told him, I don't know about that. It doesn't really look like something I'd be interested in. And after working with him and Monty both, I can't say enough good things about both of them, but he kept putting that bug in my ear. And finally I said, you know what, yeah, I'll take the interview with the guy. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from Bill, and he's like, well, why don't you come down and see what we have to offer, and we'll go from there. Things worked out really well. I love it there. The best company I've ever worked for. Small company, so I know everybody that works there. Everybody knows everybody, and
What's your role there?
I work in production, so I assemble a lot of things. I count a lot of things. Recently, I started to make my own tooling in order to speed up the process, make it more consistent.
That's good.
I'm really loving it there.
And was your initial reluctance was because you were used to IT and you weren't used to, or weren't thinking you'd work with your hands?
Well, no. My initial reluctance was because he actually had mentioned that there might be an IT facet to it, and I really wanted to get away from IT.
It was the opposite.
I had been working for a large company, corporate structure, and was just completely disenfranchised with it. So going to a smaller company where they take care of their employees was important to me. And that's where he came in and kind of drove that home, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And best decision I ever made.
And which service were you in?
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. And when did you get out of the service?
I got out in 2011. Had to think about it.
And then when you came in the door, was it a question they asked you, are you a veteran, or did you say I'm a veteran? Did you have any?
They asked me. Pretty much as soon as I walked through the door, you fill out the information, and the first thing they asked me was, are you a veteran? Yeah, actually I am. And then I got shuffled on over to Marcel.
Marcel, why did you think Microsoft, was that the correct name?
Yes, it is.
Why did you think Microsoft was such a good fit for John?
Well, you have to establish that personal relationship with their employers to get a feel for what they're looking for. And knowing the company and speaking with this young man, I knew it was a good fit. I had to twist both of their arms.
You did?
I did. So,
Sounds like there's some TV show called Wedding Matchmaker. You might have a future.
yes, sir. And that's the biggest piece of getting out, knowing your employers, having an engagement, and knowing that job seeker. I tell everyone that we just like Indeed, but we know that job seeker personally, and we know that employer. So it's a one-on-one. So it's not that massive craziness you get with Indeed and some of the online services.
So what percentage of your day are you out visiting employers like Bill's?
Well, I'm required to do a certain number of employers, and I'm out doing chamber events and doing other events, going out and doing employers, along with the hybrid, with the vet staff. What's really important that happened was they made them hybrids. They used to solely focus on just that individual. Now they're able to go out with the employees with myself and make those connections, and so they can have that direct contact. Hey, I got a hot lead, and also just filter those people along those lines. So
That's great. So you're an employee of NC Works?
yes, I'm the Division Workforce Solutions Manager, so I have the vet staff and career advisors.
And are you a vet yourself?
Yes, sir.
Where did you serve?
I've served 31 years in the Marine Corps. Retired out of Quantico, Virginia. So try to run a tight ship.
It does.
We're glad you joined us. Did you were you from North Carolina before you joined, or you just had been here and liked it along the way?
Well, I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia,
Uh-huh.
and being stationed at Camp Lejeune, I came to Wilmington one time too many. And my wife is from this area.
And the mayor said, come join us.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Jonathan, Bill, Monty, and Marcel for sharing. I'd love to turn it over to our Cape Fear Workforce Development Board. They are central in making all of this happen, and so we have Chair Jim Flock and Ginger Briggs. I'd love for you to share about the work, the collaboration, and anything to highlight for Governor Stein.
Can we take it off?
Sure.
Okay. So I love the stories that we just heard because that is NC Works. NC Works is the state brand for the workforce development, helping job seekers and employers connect, right, which drives the local economy. So I get really excited and kind of nerdy about NC Works. So this was the perfect example of an employer whose needs were met, a job seeker whose needs were met by a skilled, well-trained and informed staff person from NC Works. And speaking of business services, we do have a business engagement manager, Rosemary Gudner. So she works with a team of individuals, including Marcel and Monty, and they go and they travel and kind of touch with employers, and when they find out information, they share it. So if there's a veteran-friendly employer in particular, we really like to highlight that and bring that to the group of the business services, business-facing people. But, you know, in serving veterans, that is the first question that we ask when they come in the door. And the beauty of that is it gives them access to all of the services. But the focus group, the more intensive program that helps people one-on-one, is one of the many things. We have found that a lot of veterans don't want to connect as a veteran, right, for one reason or another. And so it's nice that we are able to serve our veterans in a number of different ways through all of our programs, just like we serve everybody else. So it's a really great system, and I love it. As the board, it is our job to kind of oversee and kind of be the lubricant that keeps the system going locally. And in doing so, we work with economic development, community colleges, and of course our Commerce DWS counterparts and all of that. And so we all work together, hopefully, to get the Johns employed with the bills. So that's it. And this is our board chair. This is Jim Flock. He leads the Cape Fear Workforce Development Board, the Cape Fear Manufacturing Partnership, and he serves on the North Carolina Association of Workforce Boards.
And I have a day job as well. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for coming and taking the time. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules.
Also from Alabama.
That's correct.
Just about the same time frame, too. Thank you, Mr. Governor.
So to take up with these people, could you tell them where you went to school?
No.
Just check.
But I think you've all seen on your tour here that we have a great group of workforce development professionals serving veterans and all our job seekers in this area are over here. We have a staff that I'm very proud of. Ginger has assembled a great staff over here. They're very dedicated. And one of the things that Marcel had mentioned was that personal touch, that one-to-one, getting to know businesses, getting to know people. As a business person myself, I've found that veterans in particular, they're one of the backbones of our society, particularly in North Carolina because of the large presence. And I've seen personally that they make attractive candidates for me because of the way they function in a corporate structure, their ability to work under pressure, their ability to adapt on the fly, and that makes them attractive candidates to all businesses in this area. And also other things that we're doing, we are taking a lot of innovative methods to improve our outreach into the community and connect with businesses. We have manufacturing partnerships. We have what we call sector partnerships that are developing in the area, and each one of those sector partnerships has people that are tasked with improving outreach to veterans. We partnered on the Cape Fear Manufacturing Partnership that Ginger mentioned with NC for Me, a veterans advocacy group, and we're very happy with the results we've had over there. All the benefits we offer them through the NC work system, I'm very proud of. I love our staff, and I know that we're going to continue to try and work and foster these relationships and make them grow even further. And I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to come here.
Thank you. What is the biggest challenge? Like, what's holding us back from being even more effective? Is it not having enough relationship with private sector? Is it people who are out there looking for a new career or a job don't know to come here? Is it technology? What is holding us back from being even better?
My personal thought is a lot of it is awareness of the services that we offer, both on the private
Either side.
and on the business end of it. People do not know. I can't tell you how many businesses that I've spoken to that have no idea of the services that are offered.
They're looking for workers and they just didn't know
They
that
have
this
no
was here.
idea, no, they're working in their own silo, and everybody looks at it and says, man, what am I gonna do? I can't find somebody.
Bill, how did you know about these guys?
Through Jim?
I have a big mouth.
That's great. That's great.
Jim also teaches, so we took a machining class when we acquired this other company, and Jim was our teacher.
Oh, great.
But we were, like Jim said, we were completely unaware of the types of services that are available here. And I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, sure, what is this gonna cost me?
State's here, we're here to help them.
Yeah, right. But it's opened up a floodgate, Jim, and also there's a gentleman, Steve Holland, from Brunswick Community College that has been a big help to us. But, now that we're working with the different resources that you supply, it's great. Just really, and we are gonna grow our business, and we'll be hiring more people over the next 5 years.
John, how did you know to come in these doors?
Honestly, I can't tell you how I first found out about NC Works. Probably online. I was just looking for job resources and found a link. And I originally went to the Jacksonville location because I'm located in Holly Ridge. I'm kind of in between. And wasn't a big fan of that location. Didn't really get the help that I was looking for. But as soon as I got over here, it was a completely different story.
That's great that you persisted.
Thank you all very much. We're going to try to get a group picture of everyone, and Megan is going to help direct that. If you all, members of the media, want to follow me to the gaggle room, that would be great.
That is all. Let's just make sure that there's no pressing questions or comments from any of our electives.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, please, Chair.
Cape Fear Community College. They are structured, if a company comes to town and they need to hire people doing certain things, they start a class and get those students. Duke Energy and MassTech went to them and told them, they said, we can't find people that have a driver's license to drive big trucks and climb poles. So they went out to the North Campus and buried about 40 telephone poles, taught them how to crawl, and in 10 weeks, they graduated, went across the hall at MassTech, and Duke Energy hired every one of them, and they were making $45,000, $50,000 a year. So our community college, I don't know what it's like around the rest of the state, but ours is incredible.
It is.
If I could just step on that for 1 second, it's not just Cape Fear, it's Cape Fear, Brunswick, Southeastern, they're all community colleges in our Cape Fear workforce development area, and I have been absolutely blown away by the responsiveness and the collaboration that we've been able to have with them. When I had mentioned the manufacturing partnership a few times, we worked with both Cape Fear and Brunswick and Southeastern to create summer camps for kids, to get them intrigued, thinking about manufacturing jobs. And these are some of the best things that I've ever done professionally. I'm so proud. You see the enthusiasm, you see the light bulbs going off because people start to become aware of the opportunities in our area that they did not know existed. This is not just a resort area, folks. There are plenty of things. And there's a lot of manufacturing companies and growing companies moving into our area.
One more thing, tackling that, the Chamber of Commerce, they started a program last year, and they're taking every 7th grader in Union County, flying them to Tampa, Florida. The airport director meets them at the gate. They stay there all day, they eat lunch, and tells them every opportunity they could ever have working in the airport, either working on the planes, flying them, whatever. Then they fly them back, and we're getting every 7th grader in Union County is getting to do that. Then they get to go to GE and tour that way. They're going all over the place, but they're showing these kids at a young age the opportunities they have, and not waiting until they're graduating from school.
Representative Mayor, do either of y'all have a comment?
I just would like to thank you all for opening my eyes, and now I understand what a resource we have here.